Moon Knight, issue number 7. So this is the first book to come out right after the trailer and the whole reveal of what's coming in store for the live action side of the character. I have no doubt that this book is probably going to get some boosted sales because of it. The collection of the first 6 issues is supposed to come out within the first couple weeks of February. So if you jump on now, there will be the collection to get onto eventually. If not, I think the single issues some of them are in like third printing already, so you should be able to find them pretty easily. If this is your first issue of the new run, I will give you a little bit of some backstory. So there was a guy who was working with Moon Knight. At this point in the story, Marc Spector has his personalities under control. Khonshu's kind of been locked up by the Avengers because they had this whole event where Khonshu tried to take over the world. And basically, he's starting like this mission where he's protecting the people of the night in his borough of New York. And this mysterious villain who allied himself as a guy named Terry, he revealed himself to be the supervillain Zodiac. And Marc just kind of got his ass kicked by him a little bit. And now it's kind of about taking the next step forward in his life and what that's going to be like, trying to really uncover the mystery that is Zodiac. So when we open up this issue, we walk into this bar with no name, and basically it's the bar where all the supervillains hang out, and you'll notice right away that there's a different artist on the book. So the first 6 issues have been Alessandro Cappuccio. For I think this issue, maybe the next one, I can't remember what it was, Federico Sabatini steps in to do the artwork, and it's really cool. Like, the colors still look the same. There's still kind of that interesting hue around Moon Knight, but this time it looks a little more like comical and like a parody book as opposed to the really intense gothic stuff that Alessandro did. It still looks really cool. So Marc comes in dressed as Mr. Knight. He goes into this bar. He's like, look, I have a name for you. I don't think you guys are going to say anything bad about it because you know who I am. Like, I'm not Spider-Man. I'm not the Punisher. They represent extreme ends of the same costume spectrum. I don't know what I could do, and I don't think you know what I'm capable of. So I beat up the Avengers. Now tell me what I need to know. I only have one thing to ask you, and that is Zodiac. So he goes to this bar. He's asking about Zodiac. A lot of lesser-known villains start to crowd him. They're like, okay, that's creepy and intense. Then we cut back to him talking to his therapist. And he's like, well, I'm curious to see what Zodiac means. Like, obviously this guy has some history. He's been part of something before, and he's trying to figure out what that is. And when he's talking to his therapist, we get a nice reveal that it's like, I'm not exactly on best terms with all the heroes in the community right now, except for Ben Grimm, who sends me a postcard or sends me like a card every, Hanukkah. Just kind of nice, a nice little thing just to reference the Jewish heritage. They're probably the most prominent Jewish characters in Marvel. Maybe Kitty Pryde would be up there too, but I think you could argue Ben and Marc are the most well-known Jewish characters. And, Marc's not even practicing Judaism, so interesting. And we do cut back to see Greer, who is Tigra. Both of these characters were on the West Coast Avengers before, so they have history together. There's panels where they have seen kissing, and she's here for some reason. She presents it off that she wants to help him, but we see that she's on the phone with a mysterious person. We don't know who it is till the end of the book, and she's trying to get some information on Zodiac from this mysterious person. And it's just like, well, this guy seems tough and interesting, but Marc is curious, and he's trying to figure out what to do. We see at the end of this page that Greer was brought in by this mysterious person to learn about Marc, and he's watching Marc for somebody. So what that looks like, who really knows? And we cut to the nighttime. We see the supervillain 8-Ball is running down the street, and we see that Reese and Greer stop him in his tracks, and he's freaking out. Behind him, Mr. Knight shows up. He's like, you have some information on Zodiac. We can make this simple. They kind of like send him to this like weird locale. They're going to, try to get some answers out of 8-Ball here. We get another scene where Marc's talking to his therapist, and he just brings up, like, this Zodiac guy has done this before. He's skilled enough. When you serve in the field in any regards, when you're dealing with a soldier or anything, you know what people are capable of with their history and their tactics. And the way that he's treating this like a game makes you think there is something about this. He is pleased that I lived through them. He said I had potential. He is testing me for something. And he kind of leads to this idea, like, is Zodiac a character that we are giving a new personality? I know he was prominent in, like, that Dark Reign book, and now it's just, like, this psychopath stalking and preying on Moon Knight. Are we going to connect him intrinsically to another character from Moon Knight's past? It could. I mean, I don't want to, like, jinx anything or say something that's not true, but in the time of that book, would Carson Knowles still be considered dead? And if so, would this be Carson Knowles in disguise in some way, and the Black Spectre is coming back in a different way? That's like one of the bigger characters I could see potentially being Zodiac. I know he's Terry, but could Terry be the identity of a child of one of the characters that he's fought before? Maybe. So we see him just torturing 8-Ball, but he's like dropping him into a grinder. He's not actually going to kill him, and 8-Ball quickly just goes, Marsdale, manslaughter Marsdale, and it's like, that's the guy that'll help him. So they bring down 8-Ball. They kind of just like scare him enough to run away, and it's like, okay, we got to go find this Marsdale guy. And again, we get a great panel here that we saw Jed McKay put on his Twitter of just Moon Knight falling through a window. This panel is going to become iconic, if not through the memes alone. It's already been like the Ralph Wiggum meme. Check out Moon Knight Corps. They do some great stuff over there. Just great. So we see he's fighting this guy, Marsdale, and he's like, you don't get it. I don't feel any pain, so you want to come at me harder, do it. And then Moon Knight just kicks him up a little bit, just beats him up, and it's pretty interesting. Again, this is a really fun thing that I'm liking. This issue, I will say, it's probably not my favorite of the run. And that's not a slight on like the art style or on anything. I think just in terms of what it's doing isn't as compelling as when it's just like strictly about Marc dealing with his problems and being like the broken train trying to get up the track. That is a little more interesting than just having him be perfect in every scene. And this is just a lot of like, oh, so there's this guy who doesn't feel any pain. How are we going to fight him? We're just going to beat him up a lot. It's cool and it's very Moon Knight, but I was like, okay, I see what you're going for here. So we saw 8-Ball said go to Manslaughter Marsdale. Manslaughter Marsdale saying, you got to go talk to the clown. Like, the clown is where you're going to get all your information on the Zodiac guy. So we see that Marc and Greer break into this house, that's supposedly where the clown is hiding out. They're just talking. We see that Marc pulls out a flashlight, and Greer's like, I can see in the dark. And he's like, well, I can't, so we're going to do it. And when they get there, you see splattered in blood is sorry I miss you with a Z strapped to the side of it, and the clown was beheaded. So you're like, okay, that's pretty intense and creepy. What is that going to mean to anything? We cut back to Greer sitting in the apartment somewhere. I like the way Greer's looking here. It's less like distinctly feline and just more like a woman with stripes on her body, which I think is okay. Like, obviously, it doesn't look strictly like fur, which I get it. I'm sure that would be hard to draw. I do like the design, though. I think it's hard to say, but I might like here Federico is better than Alessandro's just a little bit. It just looks a little bit more interesting to me. So we see again, Greer's on the phone with this mysterious person. She's like, I know Marc is dangerous, but the Zodiac guy is literally killing people, and Marc seems like to be the only target he's interested in, and he's doing better. Like, he didn't actually like kill anybody. He threatened 8-Ball with a shredder, but he didn't kill him, so that's something. And he's like, I think we should step off a little bit because Marc is my friend. Like, he is a good guy, and he's still trying. He doesn't have, the evil Jiminy Cricket in his head telling him to do something bad. He's trying to do good. We should let him try. And it's like, I'm sorry, Greer, I know this is difficult for you, but Marc Spector is too dangerous to be left unwatched. And we see in some mysterious room somewhere, the person she is talking to is Black Panther, which makes complete sense to me because I believe in that Avengers run, it was T'Challa who tried to bring Marc aboard to the Avengers, which would make sense to me because that's how he could monitor this guy who literally took, the power of the Ghost Rider. He lifted Thor's hammer. He took the Iron Fist. That's a guy you'd want to monitor because he's clearly capable of doing some dangerous shit. So that makes complete sense to me that T'Challa's like, if he's trying to do good, that's great, but there is something about him we have to watch. That's cool, but we also get an epilogue to this issue, and we see that Dr. Sternin is headed back into her just office somewhere and sitting down on the table, just, holding the head of the clown is none other than Zodiac. And it's like, you're doing a great job of getting our boy through therapy while I'm doing my own kind of therapy with him. We should maybe team up, ? And it's very interesting because it doesn't explicitly say that Zodiac and Sternin are on the same team, but it's like there is potentially something going on here that could lead these two to either work together or be on the same page to rehabilitate Marc in some way. It's cool, man. I like it. And, I said this wasn't my favorite issue. It's not. I think it's very solid. It's a great way to kind of bring this character, especially now because we just had the trailer for the MCU stuff. This is how you show where he fits in with the rest of the universe. They're like scared of him in a sense because he is he's very evil in a weird way. It's like that kind of evil that you're like, You know what he's doing is for the right reasons, but it could go any direction at any moment, and I think that's a cool thing to play with. Everything about this book is great. The artwork is very fun. I do like it. I don't want to talk negatively about it just because Cappuccio's work is so breathtaking. This is great too. It's fun action. It's good characteristics for everybody. I'm really digging this, and I think a lot of people are going to appreciate what this issue has to offer. So it is fun. It's solid. It is classic Moon Knight. It is classic Tigra. It is a really solid read. So Moon Knight issue number 7. I am going to give a 7 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.